Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for watching. We have a special guest today, Blodir. Welcome back.
Hello, what's up?
Hey, thanks for joining us. We are loaded into a 1v1 on Mariposa Island, played between Vedor and Andy, and yeah, this is the time we cast videos. Blodir's here to join us.
Hey,
are you playing in the qualifier that's coming up this weekend?
so I probably play in the qualifier. However, might not be able to play in the main event. So we'll
Just
see. Maybe I'll cast instead or something, just because I can't play. But we'll see. We'll see. I always like. I'm not biggest fan of tournaments, to be honest.
okay.
But so it's just kind of down to how I'm feeling on the day.
Okay. I love tournaments. Playing in tournaments is like the funnest thing. So
The thing about tournaments is that it's a small sample size of games, right? So it's not as good as a ladder, and also just like as a player, you have to wait
okay. That's fair.
a lot.
So tell me about these two
Like,
players. Sorry, like Andy
yeah.
versus Vader. Who do you think is going to win? Like, what do you know about their playstyles? So on and so forth.
Well, Andy's an old player, right? Like super old. I don't know when Vedor started, but like Andy, I think he can do everything. He's the kind of guy, like he's super chill. He's like, and he plays like super varied.
Right. Yeah. Definitely.
I think mostly he plays a greedier style, I would say. But like I said, he can just kind of do it all.
Hmm. Definitely
Um,
can't. He's been playing for like over 10 years, maybe over like 20 years. I don't
yeah.
know.
Honestly, I think he's like my favorite player as well, just because yeah, he plays like more defensively, but then like he'll mix it up randomly and
Yeah.
do random
Yeah.
stuff.
He's got a
And
big.
it's just like creative, weird things all the time, like using every unit in the game while
Just
still being solid.
yeah. It shows you like his understanding of the game, right? His depth of knowledge, right? Really. I guess
Yeah.
abuses it as best he can. So.
But yeah, like here he's opening three ticks, right? And they're sending them across the map. And because he's playing ticks, like if you're playing grunts, you can't really do this. If the enemy's ticks and your grunts, you're just gonna lose your grunts, right? But you
Mm-hmm.
have the faster units, they have a lot of vision. You can just run across the enemy map and then make 5 billion
Oh my
engineers.
goodness, dude. Sorry, he just got the resbout with the tick, like, so
Oh yeah,
that's kind of insane.
pretty brutal. Trees on this map, I don't remember. I think some maps have trees nerfed, right?
I'm not sure about this, and I just kind of noticed on Greenhaven the trees are nerfed just like flats and forests. I'm not sure if
Yeah,
this map.
looks like it's getting 57 right now here
Okay,
on
yeah,
Brandy's
yeah, I
side.
see that. Yep.
So okay, so Lazar is very strong in this map. Turns out. But yeah, like this is what Randy's doing. Okay, he's forcing some grunts out from Vedor and just making a billion engineers on the other side of the map with no worry in the world. This is
Yeah,
how you play arm versus core,
yeah. A
folks.
single tick is like holding all the grunts back, and you're yeah
Yeah.
being super greedy. Look,
And
that's
as
great.
the core player, you basically just have to have one grunt per max if they're exposed, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been really. It is tough, honestly. Core versus arm bots can be tough against the right player. Like, and it's just weird. There's not many good arm bot players, but it can be difficult. I think you really have to take up the space on the map and like move forward with the grunts. But the
Yeah.
problem is they're
The
so
thing
slow,
is,
right?
core bots will win in a fight. So you have that advantage of like once you get a ball up and you go into the enemy base, then they can't really defend it. But in the early game, the arm player can be super greedy because he has the faster units.
Right. And that's what we see here. Look at this: one, two, three, four expanding cons plus the commander. He went up to two Lazarus. Second con turret company. Might have to watch this
Yeah, he
replay
has like
again.
no units. Yeah. But yeah, Vedor is a cool, like, he's been playing quite a lot lately as well. And more of an upcoming player, right?
He's this would be his third or fourth season in the Bar Pro League, so he's been around for a while, and I want to say he's been making deeper runs every time. But he's been grinding those Bar Fight Night leagues as well. He's been
Nice.
playing in those a lot. Yeah. Shout
He's
out
not really paying attention
to his
to
grunts.
the grunts. Yeah, the grunt could have just killed an engineer top of the screen.
Yeah. The
Yeah.
even yeah Andy's commander got one of those as well. Conturret's gonna reclaim another grunt, and that was a little unfortunate because that was like five grunts versus like no ticks, right? Like, so think he could have gotten a little more value out of those.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like just paying a little bit more attention would have. Also, by the way, in his base, like he has all of these grunts stacked up, and he just kind of forgot to move them while he was not microing the grunts either. So I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, something I struggle with is like, I think I have like this like, oh, I need to be macroing, I need to be macroing. So like when there is an attack that comes up and it's important that I am microing, like I just kind of look away for a second, and I'll do the same thing, just miss micro the grunts, right? Just kind of look away. But
I just love the Randy response. Like Vedor is a bit of a yapper. He'll talk during the game. I don't know why, but the Randy's just like, yeah, baby.
yeah, and he's got the, I don't know what this man is on. He's on some kind of like chill juice that makes him what 50 plus OS. I don't get it, but
yeah,
could be raw skill. Let's face it.
yeah. Okay, now it's getting really alarming numbers of grunts, but the vehicles are out just in the nick of time.
Can he kite? Oh, a little bit of flanking damage there, but
Yeah, that was fun.
yeah,
But
that bought enough time for another blitz to come out, right? So it's like,
yeah, like Vedor should really be pressuring more. He should be always attack moving toward the ticks basically here, but he's not. Kind of just chilling.
it can be.
There's a lot of units in his base still.
Take a look at that.
Like they're moving on top now, but like
yeah.
it's a big, huge stack of them. They could have just been rallied across the map, right?
Yeah, would you just rally to the plateau, you think, somewhere, or just farther out in front of the factory?
If you're like having this kind of battle where you're like trying to kite enemy units, then you just might as well just rally there and reinforce.
That's a good point.
Because he's the one like gaining infinite value, ideally.
With the superior range, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at this point, it's looking pretty hopeless already for Vedor because his expansion is so much slower.
Oh my goodness.
He made so many grunts against the 3 ticks, right? And then he still took a little bit of damage, like lost the lasers and stuff. And so his expansion was slower, and then he also took damage, and he didn't put any pressure back. So just like kind of lost us all around.
Right now, and he got away with all that greed, right? He's kind of got this quarter of the map, and what, 6 contracts?
Struggling to put energy up. But,
yeah, is he stalling on energy? Yeah, I guess so, right?
It's solar time, yeah.
At a certain point, the trees do run out, but I see 1, 2, 3 Lazarus that are kind of maybe reclaiming. This one's kind of doing its own thing.
Yeah.
Fortunately.
Yeah, they're a bit deceptive because they obviously they run around a lot, so it's not actually 60 per second or whatever.
Mm-hmm. So where do you go from here? Like, say you secured your half of the map underneath that plateau, something like this. Like, what do you do from there?
Well, there's quite a lot of mass still in the middle, so I think you do have to fight for at least like one of the sides of the middle on this map.
Right.
So you'll just like make some defenses around the side little gaps and try to fight for one side of the middle. But more importantly, you need an RNG or amphibious engine to make the water mixes.
Right.
So neither player has that yet. Vedor is actually making Navy now.
Okay. I was gonna say, yeah, that's a good point about the amphibious engineer. I think you even need to make those like first unit out of the vehicle lab transition is just make that NG so.
Oh yeah, I like probably 2 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Right, because you can like take the mexes and add like torp launchers and radars like as you move to the flanks, right? Save them.
I mean, I would not add anything because already like when you're investing into vehicle like naval factory. At that point, enemy can kind of push through. It's like such a big investment. Like, look at this. Like, obviously, Randy's ahead anyways, but it's pretty difficult to get boats out and not get run over in the middle. Like, at least a little bit. So, like, you can wait for quite a long time before you get your boats out. I think eventually you probably want the boats out, but you don't really need the start with torp launchers or anything. Because, like, subs are expensive. The lab is expensive. You have to send your column, like all of this. It's just a lot.
That's a good point actually. Delaying those because it takes so long to get into the water.
Yeah, I've been baited a lot into just like trying to make Navy and then dying.
Yeah, it's a fine edge, and I think that's what makes this map pretty cool actually in the 1v1 sense. It's like it's a huge map. There's so many different theaters to contest, right? It's like how do you navigate all this? Oof. Nice little cleanup
Yeah.
here on the right side. I see a bunch of ticks on the left side. I wonder if these are actually going to get any damage.
I do think it's a really interesting map because you just get a lot of this free expansion in your
Right,
base. You just
right.
have a lot of mass. It's interesting. It's
Mhm.
interesting. And yeah, Navy, like you don't see this a lot in 1v1 where you have a mix of Navy and land. Obviously, games in this map don't always go there. Usually don't go there, but
No,
sometimes they do. There's potential to go there once people get a little better.
That was a nice little bait right there with the medium tanks, but Commander's here to shoo away all these ticks.
There's
right?
a lot of ticks trying to run by. That's a kind of funny move.
I was gonna say, to your point about the map, I could shout out X Factory who made a pretty good recommendation about adding some like hybrid water maps to the map pool. So that was that's one of the reasons why this ended up in there. So shout out.
Yeah,
for
I
those.
think there's a lack of maps, to be fair, in the game right now. Like it's just kind of hard to make maps for the game.
Right,
but
right.
yeah, hopefully in the future we'll see more maps and maybe like in FAF we used to have like we do have maps where you can decide the number of maxes and stuff.
Oh, okay, that's interesting.
And the amount of reclaim, you can like scale the amount of reclaim, how much is worth and stuff like that.
Sorry,
And that was pretty cool because you could make a different map out of existing maps basically.
Oh, it plays differently just based off the number of nexus you choose to add to it. What maps would you change? Like, because I know some of the FAF maps. Which ones would you?
Well, like you know, like some basic 1v1 maps like Comet Catcher, like
Right.
you basically just want to have less maxes around the middle.
Mm-hmm.
I guess that one you couldn't change in FAF, but in FAF, like you basically choose the amount of like spawn locations that spawn in. So you play like a 4-player, like, 4v4 map, and then you just like
change it to one
play
spawn.
1v1 on it, and then you like remove one of the spawns or something.
That's smart actually. That's cool.
Yeah.
But
I think in general in a lot of maps it's like the max distribution is a bit too even. Like you want to have some contested maxes, but usually there's too many contested maxes, so it becomes snowbally, things like that.
Right.
But this one is cool. Like you have so many maxes in the base that the middle maxes don't matter as much. They still matter a lot, but not as much. One issue with this one, I guess, is that well, any map where there's like this kind of middle plateau that's hill gives just a massive advantage to the guy who ults it.
Right.
It's a bit questionable. Like there should be a easier entrance to it from either side. Maybe would make it a bit better. But yeah, I mean it's still an interesting map.
This game is kind of equalizing, maybe. I mean, the metal incomes.
No.
I mean,
Randy's at 24% more mass produced at this point.
Is it really?
So he's just gonna keep spamming tanks. I mean, at this point, Randy can literally just spam tanks to win him. Like, there's no point transitioning the tier 2. Maybe if you made mines with mine layer, maybe then you could go tier 2 on this. But in general, the map is open enough. There's enough space that it's just better to spam tier 1. Tier 1 is
medium
so
tanks.
mass efficient. Yeah.
Yeah. I've been losing to medium tanks recently, so shout out if you meet me in the in the qualifier. I guess just make medium tanks.
Yeah. No, I've lost to that as well. Like trying to make tier 2 bots or something and then just dying like while ahead.
Well, so like what T2 transition, do you like favor one, or is it just like map contextual to the situation, I suppose, or?
Yeah, I mean in general I go for the bots, but it's always a mistake.
Wow.
Generally the reason to go tier 2, it feels like, is there's 2 reasons. You want a Twitcher to make mines.
Yeah.
And then secondly you want to make tier 2 maxes.
Right.
Right, like the actual units, you know, they're useful eventually, but like early on generally like the tanks, tier 1 tanks are just so good.
No spy bots?
Yeah, but that's like later on. Like you need a lot of energy to get your first spy bot out. Spy bots are good. Obviously, they're pretty busted, but that's only like comes into play once there's like a first fusion out or something, where you can actually make like multiple spy bots run around.
Yeah, I see. This is where the game kind of gets hard to control, right? It's like the tanks have so much HP, right? So when they're this close to your base, it's like you just like lose things, basically.
Yeah, it's really interesting how it plays out, where you have to be just like if it's tank versus tank, especially on map like Comet Catcher. I'm just talking about all the time now. But,
right.
On Comet Catcher, like imagine you're in a situation where it's tank versus tank, and the enemies are trying to roll into your base, and you're just driving next to them for
Right.
like a minute
Right.
before the tanks die.
Exactly. That was the biggest adjustment for me coming from like StarCraft, where it's like you just like move an army in front of their army and if they just run past it, it's like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
That happens. All right.
Yeah, but that's mainly tanks, right? Like,
Yeah.
It doesn't exist for like grunt and pawn
Right.
stage at all.
Right. The ticks finally got through.
Hell yeah.
They're not attacking? I don't...
They're shutting off some solars, some valuable solars. I mean, they could go all the way at the back, maybe. Or maybe they can't, actually.
Yeah, I don't think they can cross the channel.
Yeah, generally, ticks can't cross shallows. Or very often they can't. Are beamers good?
Beamers are good in certain situations. But generally, I think the less static you make, the better. But I mean, maybe at this point in the game, it makes sense to start adding it on in locations.
By the way, I think this is one of the maps where Banshees are actually really bad. And I know that people think that they're bad in general, and they used to think that they're bad. But on like Hades bombs, they're like pretty good as like...
They're pretty good.
As like a surprise thing at least. Because like they're bad, don't get me wrong. But Mexes have no HP in this game.
Yeah.
So like they have no damage. The Banshees have 0 damage. But the Mexes also have 0 HP, so
it works
they
out,
actually
right?
end up doing a lot of damage. Yeah, it works out.
So that's just the, I guess, how they've balanced air in this game, right? You can't have fast units that also do high damage, I suppose, like zipping around the map, you know?
So. Well, I mean, Mexes could use a little bit more HP, I think. But yeah, okay, so Randy made a bunch of tier 2 Mexes, and he made tier 2 land. And this is what happens when you make tier 2 land.
Yeah, I was... I did not notice this was gonna happen. Suddenly there's like 20...
Like, the thing is, the bulls are, like, they can kill infinite tanks, right? If they micro.
Yeah, exactly.
But it's a big open map. You can come from every single angle with, like, a billion tanks.
Wow.
Like Vedor is doing here.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah, he just invested so much into... Well, he has, like, 6 tier 2 Mexes, right?
That was the perfect timing, though, really. It's like there is this window, right, where... I think it's really two things. Maybe it's the metal that's in the Banshees, right, that are just kind of tickling these medium tanks as they destroy his whole base.
Yeah, you can't use
right?
them like this, yeah. They're only for killing Mexes. They can't do anything to tanks.
So, yeah, there's that. And then the lack of mines. Like, if you're playing greedy with the teacher transition, really naturally, you should be going, like, console or Twitcher for mines, right? Do consoles lay mines? Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, you have to... And it's kind of choky, right? Like, he had the plateau. Like, you can just put mines here, right? Like, just...
Yeah, I think that Randy just made the mistake of not realizing that you just actually have to spam like 100 tanks first before you can go tier 2. Although, even then, like, if he just queued up only like 2 tier 2 Mexes and then made bulls, he would have also been fine.
Right.
It was just a little bit too greedy. But it's hard because, like, normally in most maps, you'll just make tier 2 and then, like, you make a tier 2 NG and let it make Mexes forever, right?
Right.
But, like, that's probably what Randy did. I mean, I wouldn't really see it that closely, but he probably did something like that. And he still died tier 1 tanks because it was still too much investment.
It's tough to know, especially if you think, like, your opponent's being greedy, too, because, I mean, against someone at this level, like, these guys are both really, really out there, right? It's like, you can assume maybe that he's on T2 as well, so it's like, all right, well, he has a con, should I just go 2 cons and then, like, 4 consoles, right? Because he's playing greedy too. I don't know. That's tough.
Oh yeah.
These guys are really strong. I love these units. Put the medium mines down. Put nano turrets.
Yeah, I do like consoles, but Twitcher is
superior, of course, right?
Like, boy. Yeah. But yeah, the vehicles. So consoles, the vehicle one. The bots one for ARM is really bad, right? Butler.
Yeah.
I don't know what's up with that one. That guy just is useless.
It can make wins.
Oh, okay. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. You can spam like the wind farms with 2 butlers, and pretty good, I guess.
Okay.
I mean, not as good as a Twitcher. You can lay mines everywhere, right? And just, it's like quick. He's like a little sprinter guy. I don't know. Anyways, and he taps out. GG.
He GG.
That's the game. I hope you guys can leave a comment of if you liked having Blodir on. Maybe let us know in the comment section. Say thanks. But that's about the game.
Smash that like button.
Smash it. Yeah. We'll be back with more. And hopefully our this time zone thing lines up too, because this is normally when I record games. So maybe I'll see you around soon. Thanks for joining us. Yeah.
No problem.
All right,
Thanks
everyone.
for having me.
Yeah. Well, thanks for watching. If you guys can, leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.
All right, so.